This is Michael Condon, representing the TooMedToo Star Wars Network. We've got your fix. And this is one of those just strange impromptu days where we decided we wanted to talk some Star Wars, and we're like, hey, let's do a quick little septic tank tonight. So Patrick just got out of work, and he hit me up, and he said, hey, I'll be ready to talk in about a half hour if you want to. And I said, all right. But before we get with that, I'll let you know that this is brought to you by my Patreon page. It is, you can join the patrons on there. We have Rural Farm Boy, Chris from Kentucky, Kylo Ren Flores, Kylo Customs, and Heidi Feder. So we'll just bring Patrick right in here. Patrick, what's going on, man? How are you doing?
Hey, man, tired from a hard day's work, but ready to talk some Star Wars.
All right, yeah. When I was thinking about it, with doing the show on Thursday night, Friday morning, and not sleeping, we kind of cover a lot of things. But I was thinking about it today before you and I kind of talked, and it was like, what do we really think are we going to get out of this episode? There's a lot of things.
A lot.
That this is the whole thing. We actually now, it's pretty sure that we're gonna see Ahsoka.
Yes, it's almost all but confirmed at this point that she is 100% going to be in this episode. We're waiting on official confirmation. The title is The Jedi. It's a rather long episode. It's Dave Filoni's episode he's directing this season. Everything is lining up for this to be her episode. And if it's not, man, can you imagine?
Okay, well, here's the other thing really quick, backtracking. Sasha Banks, which that is not her real name. Her real name is Mercedes. I forget what her last name is.
Mercedes something, yeah.
It doesn't. Mercedes, the wrestler, the Mandalorian girl. Oh, okay, we know who it is. We don't need last names. It doesn't matter what your last name is. For those of you that watch wrestling, you'll get that one. So I believe I saw something today that she confirmed that she is only in that one episode. She will not be back this season.
As far as we know, yes, she's not. But we did get official confirmation that that one girl from the end of last week's episode will be back by the end of the season. This new actress. The one who reported to Moff Gideon. So I think that was her publicist. Or her, what do they call it? Like her agent. Put a thing up on Twitter basically saying, hey, this is the first of her several episodes that she will be in. So they basically confirmed she's coming back. She'll have a larger role moving forward. It's not just the one quick cameo from this last episode.
Okay, I didn't see that. I completely missed that. Isn't the banner... Kylo just said that I'm a dickhead because I have the wrong banner on
the septic tank banner up in the corner, yeah.
But, yeah, so this is... Yeah, it's a septic tank.
It's a septic tank now. No, we'll keep it PG for everybody tonight. So keep our septic tank raunchy on Saturdays.
Well, no, behind it says the Bacta tank. I think it's always the Bacta tank. I never changed
it's Bacta, but the one up here in the corner says septic.
Yeah, I changed that to septic because...
yeah, it's all good.
But, so...
We got some people in the chat, man. We got Ronnie J. We got... Kylo Ren Flores, and it looks like Kylo Customs is here too.
He is. He will not be joining because, not right now, anyways, because he has some.
But maybe later.
To do. He said he's in the middle of doing something because this was really, it wasn't planned out. I talked to Christina earlier and said, hey, we might be doing it, but I didn't think so because I had to talk to you and.
Oh, Kylo, you're funny, man.
I don't even know what's going on right now.
He's basically saying the show is cheap until he arrives.
Yeah, if that's what you want to call it.
So, how do you want to break this down, man? What are we talking about for this next episode?
I don't know, man. Like, what do you think is going to happen? So, So here's also the other thing.
Go ahead.
They bring in Sasha Banks, um, and it's only for one episode.
Yeah.
So
that means she's got to come back at least next season or a season down the road.
I mean, she doesn't have to.
She doesn't have to. I mean, if she's contractually obligated just for one episode, then she's already fulfilled her contract.
It could definitely just be a one and done. But then here's the Ahsoka thing. And this is before we get into more details about it. This Ahsoka thing and Ahsoka being here, is it going to be Ahsoka in real life, or is it going to be Ahsoka as a hologram or something like that? Because, and the reason I say that, when we get to, we have such a big gap in storytelling.
Yeah.
We don't hear anything about Ahsoka in any of the sequel trilogies.
We've got about I think it's a 4-year gap. At least a 3 or 4 year gap. But since the end of Rebels, I mean.
Yeah, but so Ahsoka, where's Ahsoka in the sequel trilogy? Why didn't she come about? So I'm going to guess that she's probably dead at this time.
That's what I'm thinking based off of Rise of Skywalker.
And is it because, and also The Last Jedi.
How so?
Because Rey's the Last Jedi.
What if she's not a Jedi still, though? That's another thing.
Okay, well, that brings me into then. We're going to be all over the place on this, going back and forth.
Yeah.
If Din Djarin's trying to find Jedi, she's not a Jedi.
Yeah, this is the weird thing because
so Baby Yoda doesn't go to her or belong to her.
And it's kind of weird because Bo-Katan sent him to Ahsoka because she knows about the Jedi, but the last time even Bo-Katan saw her was season 7, and she was not a Jedi unless she's seen her since then in the timeline. We don't know. We don't know if she was involved with the Night of 1,000 Tears or anything involved with that. We have no idea. More than likely, probably not, because it seems like what we know about Ahsoka is she, after Ezra saves her, she ends up going into the temple at help me here, Mike. Malachor. Sorry.
I'm checking my pie. Hang on.
Oh, okay. He's making a pie, guys. So Christina's cooking all day tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, I don't have a drink either, Christina. I might get one later. We'll see. So yeah, Ahsoka goes to, after she's saved by Ezra, she ends up going back into the temple on Malachor. We saw that at the end of season 2. And then again, we see it at the end of the episode arcs of World Between Worlds. We see her go back in the temple there to kind of bring that whole story arc for full circle. And you can fill in the gaps with the Dave Filoni art tops cards where she goes into the temple. She sees some weird things in there, but she's trying to seek something out in the temple at Malachor. We don't know what it is, so she's in there seeking something. And what we know about Ahsoka is she's no longer a Jedi. She's technically like this weird, like, in between. She's still somebody on the side of the light, but she's also not, afraid of the dark side either. She's not strictly someone who's, light side all the time. She's willing to let her emotions get the better of her if need be, but she still tries to fight for good and things that are just. So as that's reflected in her costume design, it's a very gray, neutral color with her 2 white lightsabers. We've heard rumors and rumblings in the fan community that if she appears with any lightsabers, Mike, they might be blue. I don't know if that's true or not, but if that is the case, that would indicate that maybe she is starting to go back down the path of the Jedi again, unless she somehow acquired these blue blades and is no longer using her white sabers anymore. We're not sure. That's all speculation and rumor, nothing official. What color lightsaber she's using in The Mandalorian. We don't even know if maybe that was something they shot, and maybe she's not even using lightsabers, anymore. They could have changed that out in post-production. She might be wielding something different, or she might not fight at all. We really don't know. She could be like a wise sage just giving advice, because the last time we saw her, Mike, she was very regal with a white hood and a white staff, looking very much like when Gandalf returned in Two Towers as Gandalf the White with the giant white staff. So are you thinking she's not, since she went back into the temple on Malachor and she's been through some stuff, you think maybe she's gained some like almost like Yoda like wisdom, and she's going to almost be like this wise sort of sage character? Or do you think she's maybe been through some stuff since then, even in the last 3 to 4 years on this canon timeline, to where maybe some things about Ahsoka have changed again?
Okay, well, we got some people chatting over here.
Hey, Darth Peltz.
We got Michael Pappas back.
Pappas,
on Facebook.
What's up, my man?
That Ahsoka is seen with Sabine post Return of the Jedi at the end of Rebels, but we don't know if they're still together. We know they were going to go off. I'm thinking in the timeline it's around 5-6 ABY, because Sabine mentions right before that scene, she says after the war, Zeb took Kallus to Lyrasan. So I'm thinking this whole story arc takes place after the war, and the Galactic Civil War ends in 5 ABY at the Battle of Jakku. So it's around at least 5 ABY, 6 ABY. And we know that The Mandalorian takes place in 9 ABY. It's 5 years after Return of the Jedi. Yeah. So it's only been about 3-4 years. That's where I'm getting that number from. Yeah, that sounds about right. And then she's an ex-Jedi from a political standpoint, but she fights for the light side of the Force. That's why, when it comes into that there is, there's still no gray Jedi, but if she's not a Jedi, and, now she is more of a going with the mystical side of the Force. And yeah, anybody that's watching on Facebook, if your comments aren't showing up on the chat, just come over to YouTube. Or I had to go and see who it was that was commenting, because your name doesn't show up. It just says Facebook user on here. So if we're ignoring you, we're not ignoring you. We just can't see your comments on here. And if we're not calling you out by name, I just know that it's Paps, because we love Michael Pappas, and he is one of our most favorite people ever to walk on the face of this earth. But that's the whole thing too. It's like, so she's not a Jedi, but she still fights for the good side of the Force. But if not,
as far as we know, because they don't really give you that answer necessarily at the end of Rebels. But we do know she still has ties to the Rebel Alliance, because we see, and this is really weird, she flies in a Jedi cruiser, like a Jedi consular ship, at the very end of Rebels. I don't know if you picked up on that. I know a lot of people were like, wait a minute, she's not a Jedi, but yeah, she's still flying a Jedi ship? What's up with that? So she managed to either track one down or acquire one from the old days of the Old Republic, from when the Jedi Order was still standing tall. So I don't know, Mike. Maybe she is starting to walk back towards the path of the Jedi again.
Or like you mentioned before, Gandalf the Grey and Gandalf the White. So you have, right? Isn't that what you said? Or was I thinking something different?
Yeah, her physical appearance was a lot like Gandalf. When he started off as Gandalf the Grey, he disappeared for a little bit after fighting the Balrog and Fellowship of the Ring. And then when he comes back in Twin Towers, they think he's actually Saruman, because Saruman wore all white and had the white hair. And so they thought they were fighting an enemy, and then they realize it's Gandalf.
But here's the thing. He dies or whatever happens. I don't know the exact lore of it, because I'm not whatever you call, like, you got Trekkies and you got, I don't know what you call Star Wars people except for normal, but like the people that are all into Tolkien and everything. I don't know exactly what happened to him or how he.
They talk about it. He goes into like this weird like spiritual change. It's really weird. He like, I remember in the movie he has like this weird like he gets this weird like psychotic episode where he's like he sees himself like naked in like a sea of white, just like nothingness. And then when he comes out of that, he's like somehow enlightened.
But if like Ahsoka has one of these, whatever happens, because now she's Ahsoka the White. Well, I'm just using that as a reference. For whatever happened to her, if she's now more like, all right, this is where I've had some conversations with people, because like I've said that Rey is one of the most powerful Jedi's. Mm-hmm. And they're like, well, no, in a lightsaber battle, this person would win. Well, it's like, no, if you actually understood and didn't just do some fucking stupid show where you pull cards out of hats or whatever the hell you do with your magic tricks, the Jedi isn't about lightsabers. That's like the last thing that you do. Like we see with in episode 3, you have, or episode 2, whatever episode it is, you have Yoda and Dooku fighting with each other using the Force, and it's like, well, I guess we can't figure out with the Force who it is. So now let's go to our backup and use our lightsabers because
lightsaber time.
We know the Force enough. So it's like, like lightsabers aren't a necessary thing. It's just kind of an added thing or whatever. It's like, to be a true Jedi, you wouldn't need a lightsaber. Pretty much when it comes down to it. You would be able to do everything with the Force. What if Ahsoka, yes, she has her dual lightsabers now, or they're white or whatever, because she might need them. But, as a whole, the spirituality of the Jedi and the religion isn't dependent on lightsabers. So if she's gone into more of a mystical part where she's more in tune with the Force than other Jedi are, then you have that aspect of it too.
Mm-hmm. Which it's really interesting. I don't know if you remember this from Rebel Season 2, but when she first appears, in that one scene where she they like end up getting trapped up against that locked door, and then the doors open and she walks out to take on the fifth brother and seventh sister. She has like this weird, like, they're fighting with all this rage and stuff, and she's almost like in a Qui-Gon Jinn sort of like Zen state where she's just like patiently like, calculating every single move, like almost like it's effortless. And at one point she literally reaches in and grabs the seventh sister's lightsaber in the middle and just like deactivates it, basically.
I'm trying not to drive all this shit on top.
So she basically like shows that it doesn't matter what side of the Force you're on, as long as you're tapped into the Force and you're in control of it. It is a very good assisting tool. Much like how you were saying, it's not really all about lightsaber battles and who can win the lightsaber battles. It's more about who has mastery of the Force or is more in tune with the Force.
Yeah, because think about it. If you're going to fight someone with a lightsaber, and the other person can just destroy you with the Force, they're going to pull the lightsaber right out of your hand, and you're done. But if you're closely matched to where they wouldn't be able to get it away, or them trying to get the, I think my headphones are going to die too, because I never charged them, which might be an issue. But I'll have to figure that out. They're just beeping right now. So like there's that aspect too. To go into, but I just don't think that. There's just so many questions that once you try and answer, that bring up so many more questions and what ifs with this. And Paps is going, Michael, just get on here, dude. It doesn't matter. You don't even need to put your shirt on. You can just just leave a picture up of the dog or whatever. But Mike's going crazy out there, going, we're the Ahsoka's fulcrum, a key part of the rebellion, and now we don't know whatever's going on.
As far as we know, she's still a part of the fulcrum, like, organization. We just don't know, like, how she's tied into it anymore, because she's, like, went through this weird period where she fought Vader on Dathomir. Malachor. Sorry, thank you. At the end of season 2, and like I don't know if you heard me earlier, Mike, when you walked away, we were talking about how Dave Filoni did this series of like Topps trading cards of like what sort of like weird trippy experience that Ahsoka went through when she walked down those steps back into the temple after Ezra saved her. Yep. At the World Between Worlds. So he gave his artist interpretation of like her going through like this spiritual journey. It's almost like that, like a weird, trippy, dark side, light side, like combination. Kind of like what Gandalf went through in Lord of the Rings a little bit, but it's a lot different. And I find it interesting she went back into a Sith temple. And what we do know about Malachor is it was the site of a massive Jedi-Sith battle way back in the day. So I imagine Ahsoka, since she's no longer a full Jedi, is going to experience a little bit of both. And I think that's her tapping more and more into the Force. Yes, she has somewhat of a mastery of it, but I think there's still mysteries out there that she's always trying to find. So I do believe... Are you looking... Is that an Art of Rebels? Is that what you're looking through?
Oh, no. Art of Rebels I have somewhere. I don't know where it is.
Okay.
Right this is the Rise of Skywalker Visual Dictionary. I'm just trying to check an exact time. Trying to figure out, because... we got Lunga in the house, too, from the Great Council. Lunga,
hey, welcome in.
You can always pop on if you want to, just to tell us how much you hate the Last Jedi, since we mentioned it.
So basically, Ahsoka, she's got a pretty good connection to the Force. But just because you have a good connection from the Force, it doesn't mean there's more stuff out there for you to learn about it. There's more stuff available for you to learn as long as you're willing to accept it. So Ahsoka ends up going back down into the temple. There's secrets there. We still have no idea what Ahsoka experienced completely, other than Dave Filoni's personal drawings, which are kind of like this weird, like, it is canon. It's kind of like a pseudo canon that he drew in those cards. And then when she reappears to Sabine, it's where we believe she's had some sort of enlightenment of some kind. Well, we don't know what that is, but she's gone through some experiences. We'll say that. So what those experiences will, I imagine that's got to somehow tie in with what we're going to see tomorrow night. It has to in some way. I don't think they'll necessarily, blatantly like, hey, this is what I've been through in the last, So when was that? Was that 1? I want to say that was 2 BBY. When they go to the temple. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's 2 or 3 BBY. I want to say it's 2 BBY. When she has the battle with Vader. So that would mean it's been about 10 or 11 years, Mike. She's been through some stuff in, we'll say roughly 10, 11 years.
Yeah, but Papa said something about the Ahsoka and Luke and Leia thing when whatever, but Leia's done, so
what do you mean by that?
Well, Return of the Jedi's over.
And we think that she was trained right after the war.
Yeah, right after the war, and she stopped. She's only trained for 1 year.
Because they mentioned in Rise of Skywalker, she sensed the death of her son, which means she already knew who Ben Solo was. Ben Solo was born, so I would think it's probably 6, 7 BBY.
No, he wasn't born.
ABY.
She had a premonition about his being evil. That's why she stopped training, because she was pregnant with him. And
I want to say the quote was, she sensed the death of her son, is what Luke says.
She found out...
Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't know what the quote is offhand, but she found out she was pregnant, and that he was going to become like Vader, not like Luke.
Is that page in the visual dictionary?
I would have to find it. I believe.
Let me look, because I want to. If they do have a timetable on that page, I definitely want to see when that happens in the timeline.
There's multiple. Right, well, you look that up. There's multiple timetables, because for each character there's a timetable.
Okay, what's the Leia page?
She's on 14.
She's on 14?
Yeah. I'm not sure where the rest of her is, but while you're looking for that, I'll just go into these. Mike says that's why Obi-Wan beat Maul so quickly. Obi-Wan beat Maul so quickly because if you watch and you compare the two lightsaber battles, Maul uses the exact same moves both times, and Obi-Wan was able to learn from that, where Maul wasn't, because Obi-Wan kept growing with the Force. Maul stopped growing with the Force and was just growing with hatred and anger. That's what kept him going. So I would completely disagree with you on that, Pappas. He's tired. He's going to come on this weekend or Monday. Kylo says there's going to be a septic tank on Saturday. I have to work on Saturday, so I can either set it up and people can come in, and I'll come in and join you later, or we'll just have to do it at like 12 o'clock at night. My time, which should be 11 o'clock your time, but we'll figure that out in the next couple days. I'll talk to you guys. And then Peppa says, maybe Ahsoka goes to the unknown regions to bring Baby Yoda home to his planet and stays there. Maybe she's still alive during Tross, and Rey hears her through meditation. She's chilling with a litter of Baby Yodas. And that was one of the misconceptions that people flipped out because she was dead, and it was never confirmed whether she was dead or alive. It was,
and Dave Filoni claims she was alive. Claims, but this is also the same man who put a T-shirt on that says "Ahsoka lives."
But well, no, I don't think he claimed she was alive. He claimed that you don't have to be dead to hear, or the people that, I think it was something along the lines of that not everyone that you hear has to be dead, which everyone interpreted it as him saying that she was still alive. But I could be wrong on that. I mean, that was a fucking year ago, man.
Well, as we know, Luke and Vader had a connection, some sort of connection, father to son. They could speak to each other through the Force. Luke and Leia had a connection, brother sister. They could talk to each other in the Force. Ooh, it's starting to rain outside. Wow, that came really fast. And then we know certain Force ghosts can commune directly with. And then, of course, we know Palpatine was using, supposedly, Kylo Ren thinks it's Snoke talking to him through the Force all the time. Then we kind of find out it's really Palpatine that's been talking to Kylo Ren in his head his whole life.
Yeah.
So they've had a connection through the Force. And then on top of that, we know Rey and Kylo Ren, Ben Solo, have had this connection back and forth. So it's always present that certain Force users can still communicate with each other. And even if they can't communicate, I've noticed in mainly the Clone Wars and early on in the prequels, when the Jedi were in their heyday, they could still sense that their people close to them were in danger. Even if they didn't have the Force, they could sense that other people were in danger or something was out of place in the Force.
I don't know. Did you find that quote?
I found the page. Go to 73. So here's the thing with the timeline in Rise of Skywalker. They use the BSI scale, which is before Star Killer incident. So the Star Killer incident, the Hosnian Prime destruction, takes place during Force Awakens, which is in the year 34 ABY. So in the BSI scale, basically to convert it to the BBY ABY scale is take the year of the Starkiller incident and then subtract the number, and that'll tell you what year that is in ABY BBY. So I always take 34 and then subtract whatever the other number says. Or is that right? No, sorry. You take the number BSI and subtract 34. So, if you see that section where it says timeline, Mike?
I was just looking at some.
Page 73.
Yep.
So if you look down there, it says 30 BSI. So 30 BSI is 4 ABY. So that's the year Return of the Jedi happens.
Yep.
So sometime between 4 and 5, so before the end of the war, Leia was getting trained as a Jedi. So I imagine that takes place sometime during the Aftermath books, but before the end of the war. So this is at some point, that's an interlude. It's never really been confirmed where in the interlude that takes place. But if what you're saying is true, yes, Ben is not born yet, because Ben was not born until basically the end of the war, which is a year later. So I would imagine this is around the time that Han and Leia are either about to conceive Ben or slightly after. If that makes sense.
Yeah, just give me 1 second here.
Oh, no, you're fine, man. It also mentions on there the same year that marries Han Solo, but it says here 30 BSI ceases Jedi training, and then a year later, 29 BSI gives birth to Ben Solo. So you are correct. She was either pregnant or about to get pregnant with Ben when she was training with Luke on I forget what the planet is. It's the one from Rise of Skywalker. The one where the rebels are at, or the Resistance. Agent Kloss. Because the whole backstory behind Agent Kloss is that the reason Leia went back to Agent Kloss is because she knew it was a safe haven, kind of like Dakar. It's a place that she had experience with in the past. I really need to go back through this book and grind it out. There's a lot of lore behind Rise of Skywalker that is not shown in the movie, and is a lot of just, you got to read it. So,
yeah. So we'll have to figure out. I'm almost positive it was.
So yeah, you're pretty much on the money there, Mike. About she is either pregnant or not quite pregnant, but yeah, she senses the death of her son somewhere in the future, but I'm assuming more than likely, because Jedi or Force sensitives have connections to living beings, it was probably early on in the pregnancy, and because it's a mother-son connection, kind of like Vader had a father-son connection to Luke, I imagine he's probably already in her stomach at this point. Because I think they mention it, isn't it in Bloodline? Before he's born, Leia talks about, like, she almost, like, they have, like, this weird, like, force bond mother-son.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's already established in the canon.
Yeah. But also, so here's the thing, like Mike says, maybe Ahsoka brings Baby Yoda back to the planet. But what is she doing right now? Because
we have no clue.
Baby Yoda's not leaving. This is where it doesn't matter if we see her in actual physical form, or as a hologram, or just, whatever it happens to be. She's not taking Baby Yoda.
Yeah, and so, I don't really see any reason still for her, and they've established it already that the mission isn't to take it. He keeps saying, I'm going to take him to his kind. Force. What do you know about Force sensitives? Oh, the Jedi. This whole Force thing. Maybe they know about him. But ultimately, his mission isn't to take him to the Jedi. His mission is to take him to his own kind, which is really like his own species. But, that's up for interpretation, really. Because I have, like, this weird feeling like he's going to go to the Jedi and be like, okay, I'm dropping him off. And Ahsoka's going to be like, no, he's your problem. And I think this will tie directly back into the end of season 1, where the armorer says to Din Djarin that he's in your care now, and that he's a foundling. That's pretty much established now that he's basically a Mandalorian child at this point. Mm-hmm. So I really don't see him leaving. They're setting it up. They're like, oh, we're going to give Baby Yoda away. But if you guys remember correctly, that happened in episode 3 last season. And you know what Din did? He went back and got him. So I don't think he's leaving the baby. And a lot of people have discussed this on Twitter and elsewhere that they would probably rage if he left the baby with Ahsoka. He's left him in the care of Frog Lady and her husband, so... And a droid teacher, so he is more trusting to leave him with, like, people he trusts, like, you know, Frog Lady and her husband, or the droid teacher in the classroom on Navarro, so he can leave him for a little periods of time if, you know, if he's got to go on a dangerous mission. But I don't see them ever, you know, fully ever parting for long periods of time, because the fans will probably rage. I mean, if it makes sense with the story for him to leave at a certain point, then, you know, that works. But yeah, I don't see it happening anytime soon.
I mean, because it was just, I know you don't write the stories for, you know, you write the stories because it's a story you want to tell. You don't write the stories whether or not it's going to make people happy or upset. You know, that's the way storytelling should be. But it would just, the majority of, I can't say the majority, but there's a lot of people, or a very, very high percentage of people that don't like Star Wars, that just like The Mandalorian, and the reason that is because of Baby Yoda. And
they literally just want to see the child every week.
Yep, that's what they, you know, that's what people are talking about.
I see that GIF posted on Twitter every week. It's the client, and he just says, "I want to see the baby." Just every week, everybody wants to see the baby.
But, you know, so, I mean, but there's still, like, after this week, we should have, well, I mean, I don't know. I was going to say we should have a lot of questions answered, but...
I think we're going to have more questions. A lot more questions than the questions we're going to have answered. We're going to have some answered, but we're going to still be scratching our heads going, wait, what?
Well, is this just going to be a one... Like, that's when I was bringing up Sasha Banks and her character. Is this just going to be a one and done? Or is she going to be back for another episode? Is she going to be back? I mean, we don't know about the future episodes, but...
Heck, she could be an animated. They could bring her back out and stick her next to a microphone, you know? So maybe that's part of her contract, is she's not just going to do live action work. She might do some voiceover, too. And that might work a little bit better with her schedule with the WWE as well. They may be like, hey, come do a, you know, 1 or 2 episodes live action, and then... You know, the rest is just voiceover work. You can do it anywhere you want in the world. You know, if you got to go on, you know, on tour with WWE and then go do your events, you maybe like take a few hours out of like 1 or 2 days and just record some voice lines. You know, that might be a possibility.
But, I mean, I don't, like, this is where I had a lot of ideas, but they keep changing. Like, I don't have a steadfast... this is what's going to happen, I think, and this is my theory. Like, I have some my
I'm trying to keep it open theories. As well.
Because I don't think she is going to take Baby Yoda, especially, you know, not right now.
And she's like in her like 40s or 50s now, canon time wise. Somebody correct me on that. So she's not exactly like going out and having big, huge adventures. Then again, look at Leia.
Yeah, that's true.
Leia was in her 50s and she was doing everything, so.
Yeah, I don't know, because it's like, I think we're going to get, like an Ahsoka the White, but she's not a Jedi anymore. And
I think this is going to be something new. Something really new that's never been seen before. They might find a way to tie it to High Republic for all we know.
She's just her.
Yeah, she really is just her. And that's kind of what fans loved about her, is her personality is very individualistic. And it's a lot like Anakin was when Anakin in the prequels showed up and in the Clone Wars. And she takes a lot of those traits from him. And I know we've talked about that, you know, on several podcasts, that she's very much like her master.
But, you know, I think it's going to be something where she's just her. she's a free agent. Um,
Yeah, it's like a free agent in sports. Like, hey, I might play with this team for 1 year, and I really don't want to play with you guys anymore. I'm gonna go play with this other team for a little bit, and then maybe I'll come back later.
And it's still going to be on the light side, but she doesn't have the constraints of what the Jedi do, so she can kind of do whatever she really feels like doing, and doesn't really have to answer the questions of is that something a Jedi would do, because it doesn't matter. She can do what she wants.
And they covered that in Clone Wars season 7, that she got tired of the Jedi and how they were starting to treat her and just the general populace. She felt like they were really changing from their original vision of what the Jedi Order was in the past. They were starting to stray. So she even realized stuff was going iffy in Clone Wars season 7 after she left the Jedi Order. And so this is where she started to take a more serious tone with Anakin and Obi-Wan, and Mace Windu doesn't even consider her anything even close to a person anymore with the Jedi Order. He calls her Citizen, which everybody jokingly said this episode should have been called The Citizen, just as like a little nod to Mace Windu. But could you imagine how angry the Ahsoka fans would be? How dare you name the episode The Citizen?
Mace Windu's dead to me. I'm glad he fell out that window and died. I used to think he was alive.
Everybody jokingly says he fell out the window.
Yeah, I'm glad he fell out the window. He's not alive anymore.
Which I've heard some crazy theories, mainly from Star Wars Theory. I don't know if you've seen him on his YouTube channel. He's trying to drum up this idea that if they can bring Boba Fett back from the Sarlacc pit, they can bring Mace Windu back from his long giant fall.
I mean, they could.
And Sam Jackson's voiced his opinion that he'd love to come back, so I think George said he was dead, but if they want to do anything, they can. Yo, what's up, Kylo?
What's up, fuckers?
Hey, it's not Septic Tank. Well, I guess according to this, it is. So you're good.
Yeah, the thing over there, up there.
The title is "This is Septic Tank number 33."
There you go. Yep.
Okay.
Whatever. It's fucking up there.
But yeah, so that's the other issue is my thing. Is she gonna be? I think what's gonna happen is, just go into really. I know I just changed my mind 14 times on what we're gonna say. Peppa says, "Do we know anything about the planet Bo-Katan says Ahsoka is on?"
Corvus, no, it's a new planet.
Okay. I didn't think it was either. I haven't looked. I know I said I was going to look it up. I didn't look it
Yeah,
up.
brand spanking new planet to the canon.
I don't remember hearing anything about it before, because I do read the books and pay attention to other shit. So
yeah, it would have shown up. Somebody would have said something. So yeah, it's definitely a new planet. And they're trying to world build with the Mandalorian. So
where's Sabine during these episodes?
We don't know.
I mean, Bo-Katan said she was the only one.
Well, Bo-Katan was back on Mandalore fighting, with the Empire over control over Mandalore for several years during the Galactic Civil War. We know she took the Darksaber. We know she's now at that point in the canon, she was the official ruler of Mandalore at that point. And then by the time we see her in the Mandalorian, she doesn't have the saber anymore. And as far as it's concerned, she knows Gideon has it. And because going back to Clone Wars, when Maul took the Darksaber and took over, she vehemently opposed any sort of outsiders ruling Mandalore. That's always been her stance. She hates it. So yeah, she has a very strict ideology of anybody on the outside coming in that's not part of Mandalorian culture. She's very against that. So I imagine Gideon having the Darksabers really got to piss her off. How he got it, we still don't know. I guess we'll have to find out probably by the end of this season, or I imagine probably season 3 is really where they're going to get into that deep stuff. But yeah, we know Sabine was on Lothal. That was revealed in Rebels season 4 at the end. She's basically sitting around waiting for Ezra.
And that's what we know that they were supposed to be going to do. So that's what, we don't know why Ahsoka's on this planet. Did they find Ezra? Did Ezra and Thrawn These are just so many more questions that come out. Did they find Ezra and Ezra and Thrawn die?
Yeah, we don't know if they're dead. We don't know if Ezra went
So
back home.
so they came back, or did Ezra say, "Listen, I got my own stuff to do. You go do your thing. I still have my Jedi path to go." Does he call her a citizen? I'm on the Jedi path, citizen. Which that now everybody's going to hate Ezra even more than they already do, if that was to happen.
And in a way, he in a weird sort of way, he kind of followed a similar path to Ahsoka a little bit, where he was also he went more into the dark side stuff than Ahsoka ever did. He shadowed under Maul, even though Kanan was against that stuff and really hated that idea. But he also wanted Ezra to be a free agent and learn from his mistakes, make mistakes along the way, as long as it makes him a better person. He still kept him on a little bit of a leash, so if danger ever happened, he would always be there to help his Padawan out. But he went darker than Ahsoka did several times. So yeah, maybe he had to go through some stuff, and he made a very Jedi sacrifice, in season 4 Rebels. But I don't know. We really don't know where his character is going to go from there either. I imagine, much like Ahsoka, he's gone out and seen some stuff too.
And then we got Papa's asking again, are the Dark Troopers we see with Moff Gideon at the end of Chapter 12 have anything to do with Baby Yoda blood experiment, do you think?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think that was for...
That's for some sort of weird cloning force sensitivity thing.
I think that was the experiment was for Snoke.
So Michael's saying it's for Snoke. What are you thinking, Kyla?
Where they're at and seeing, well, not fully seeing the clearly seeing the figure in that tank. I want to say a lot of people are speculating that it is a Snook one. I'm thinking, yeah, I'll go with that, thinking that they're trying to find some force sensitive blood to inject into that clone. But the thing is who the hell is she a clone of?
See, this is where I have a problem with that theory, and that is in the mission, or in the message from Dr. Pershing, he specifically mentions volunteers, like test subjects. So I'm thinking they're probably not actual clones. They've got to be some sort of like Imperial prisoners, or literally people who volunteer. But let's be honest, it's the Empire. There's probably no volunteers in the Empire. They probably got forced into this thing. So they basically got sacrificed for crimes, whatever, into this weird psychotic experiment.
Then it says, but the scientist says that they're volunteers.
Yeah, they're volunteers. And my theory on it is, and somebody pointed this out, I didn't even realize until they pointed a few things out. So the base they're at is very similar in design to that one that from Rogue One where Galen Erso is. It's like a similar design for the base. And then the guys inside where the actual like tanks are at, they're wearing uniforms very similar to Galen Erso's. And then at the very end of the episode where you see like the Dark Trooper things, there's these scientists and they're wearing like what the scientists wore underneath Galen Erso's scientists at his facility. But there's like these weird new like patches on the back. Like so if you go back and watch Rogue One, the Tarkin Initiative has a certain logo design. And then now in The Mandalorian, there's like a different design on that same sort of like blue and white like jumpsuit. So I imagine we'll officially get something in the databank probably after this week's episode or something like that, or in the next few episodes letting us know whatever this new initiative is under the Empire.
probably going into Aftermath, because all this can be stemmed from Aftermath and what was going on in Aftermath, and then this is just an extension thereof with a specific.
It's like an extension beyond Aftermath Empire's End, yes.
Well, yeah, because this is one section of it, so there could be many clone things going on that we were just seeing one. Knowing the Empire, he's not going to have just one cloning experiment going on afterwards for his contingency plan. He's probably got many of them, but this is the only one that's been really successful.
Yeah, and what we know in the canon from, I think somebody brought it up, it's from the Rise of Skywalker novelization. Basically, the moment he died, he instantly got transported into some new body. So at some point, even 34 years before Force Awakens, and a few years even before, 5 years before this in The Mandalorian, Palpatine's already in a new body. So this has got to be some sort of different experiment. It can't be for Palpatine. It's got to be either for Snoke or, making somebody Force sensitive, whether that's, normal people or if it's Moff Gideon. Maybe Moff Gideon's trying to, get Force sensitive for whatever reason. It's really hard to tell.
But
what?
I honestly think it was for Palpatine, because they kept saying that Palpatine, every time he transferred his essence into like a regular being at that point, he was his essence was too strong for a non force wielders.
Which could tie directly into this. Maybe this is some sort of different experiment showing that you can't just force midichlorians into somebody's body. And so maybe because of his midichlorian or force essence being transferred into a new body, we're seeing the same sort of result, but it's a completely different experiment. That's what I'm thinking, at least. Maybe there's something more spiritual to this. The Empire's trying to look at it very physically, very scientifically. Like, why can't we crack this? Why can't we just force midichlorians into somebody? And really, there's this force essence tied to individual beings that the Force chooses. And you can't just, shove the Force into a random person. They gotta have, a similar level of essence in their being. But if they have the same level of Force essence, then you wouldn't have to go through that process,
So I'm thinking that the child has an extremely high midichlorian count. So that's why they're trying to pump his blood into these different bodies to see if that body can hold on to it. And if that body can handle it, then that would be the next body that Palpatine would transfer into.
See, that's another great idea. Maybe this isn't, for Palpatine's first body. This is maybe for, a replacement body, one or two bodies down the road. Because, and that's almost kind of like going into some weird, Voldemort, Harry Potter level stuff there. How Voldemort had to kind of, find a host body and all this weird stuff. Yeah, it's trippy.
Oh, man, see?
Now you just made me, Kylo, you just gave me something to chew on now. That's something I never thought of. Maybe this isn't for Palpatine's first new body. Maybe this is for one of his many multiple bodies.
Because I'm thinking his first body failed or was starting to fail.
I'm thinking it's got to decay pretty quick.
That's why they were trying to find something that had high force, high midichlorians to inject into another thing to see who or what might be able to hold such a powerful force essence or force ability. And then Snook's body was able to do it. So that's probably where, he was a test subject, and then,
and then they realized he could be used as a puppet in the meantime.
Right. And then one of Palpatine's original clones was able, but then he'd have to keep bouncing from clone to clone until they found, because it's just a normal body, from what I understand, from what way I would look at it. And then he'd have to bounce from that one to the next Palpatine clone until they found one that can sustain that his amount of force ability or force essence.
Yeah, and then that somehow got a tie into, and it's not really talked about very often, but even, Rey's dad was Palpatine's supposed clone son in a way, kind of like, and I think that's how they're going to tie this all into Boba Fett, honestly. Everybody's like, how's Boba Fett going to fit into all of this? It's like, well, people forget, Boba Fett is a clone of his father. You know who else is a clone of his father? Rey's dad.
And here's the other thing, too, just on that. You had Giancarlo Esposito saying that no one even knows what's going on in the story right now. We're all looking at the small picture. We're not even seeing the bigger picture. That won't be revealed until the end of season 3 or beginning of season 4.
Yes, we're really still far off. This is just like the intro to all of that craziness.
Everything we're talking about right now probably has no significance or very little until we find out the big story. The big picture. Kind of like, seriously, it's not a movie. It's like when you're I keep saying this.
It's a lot like a book.
It's perfect why they're doing chapters because, people upset that, chapter 9, we're going to get, we see Boba Fett, so chapter 10, we're going to have the Boba Fett story come out. And it's like, no, in a book, sometimes they tell you something and it's never brought up again. People really don't lose their shit over it like they do.
It's kind of like, what's his name there? The guy from Chapter 9 there who was in most of the episode with Din Djarin. What's his name?
Cobb Vanth.
Cobb Vanth. When you read his story in Aftermath, it was a quick story, and you know what happened? He didn't come back. He moved on to the next page.
Yeah. But that's like, so there's that thing, and then you also have a lot of times they might tell you something in chapter 1 or 2, and then you don't get it again until chapter 12, or in this case, you get chapter, like whatever it is. So we might not ever, we might never get Boba Fett again, or he might not be till season 3 or 4, if he does even come up. But it might have ties into the whole cloning thing and Palpatine's son being a clone. And how come he has no midichlorians and isn't intuitive to the Force, but his offspring is, which doesn't really make sense. But then if you want to get into genetics, it does, because certain traits, maybe high midichlorian counts are a trait that can skip a generation, or depends on how the DNA lines up, that things like that can happen. There's and by the way, they're M counts, not midichlorians. We've moved on past that. So, yeah, we don't want to get people going, I'm going to be canceled again because I said midichlorians. Oh no.
Oh dear, that dreaded episode 1 word. It's been It's been 21 years, guys. It's okay.
But see, here's the thing. I mentioned Palpatine clones. Oh my God, it used to be canon, but now it's Legends. I think it just triggered somebody.
I think it's Dark Empire.
No!
Isn't that the same story that basically gave us like a dark Luke and then later on led to Luke?
Yeah.
Is that the one where he has sex with a spaceship?
I don't think so.
Okay, I wasn't sure. Is that the one where Chewie gets crushed by the moon?
Wait, sex with a spaceship, is that Solo a Star Wars story?
No, I thought that was...
And then Chewbacca getting killed by the moon, that's Vector Prime.
Somebody's having sex with a spaceship? Wasn't that knockoff story I saw on Twitter?
Probably.
Who knows, man? Who knows?
Or you can see it weekly with Elon Musk.
There you go.
No, I kid. I love what Elon Musk is doing with SpaceX. That's some pretty cool stuff. If we get lucky, we can actually see the launches from here, where I am in North Carolina, because they come right up the coast. Yeah, how's it? Let's get this back onto Ahsoka, Mike. Like, how do you think she is going to fit into this bigger picture, and why do you think? Do you think it's just because Dave Filoni knows everybody loves Ahsoka, or do you think maybe like Jon Favreau actually has like, yeah, maybe there is a reason for her to be in this story? Because I find it odd, other than the fact that she's just a fan favorite character, why would you put her in this story?
Both.
You know what I'm saying?
Both.
You think it's mainly for nostalgia's sake?
I think that they could make her have a reason to be in it. Whether or not a lot of people are, a lot of people were upset with Ahsoka. Oh, it's always Ahsoka, it's always Ahsoka, it's always Ahsoka. But, like, there's a reason it is, because she's a great character. People love her. I mean, people hated her when she first came out because she was a whiny little brat. Well, she was just like Luke. And she has her trials and tribulations. And Patrick's frozen. But, and then people fall in love with her because she's so great of a character she turns out to be, because, she goes from just being this whiny little brat to, defying the Jedi and pointing out the flaws with the Jedi. And it's like, what was the downfall of the Jedi? The Jedi themselves. Did the Sith have something to do with it? Maybe. What's going on here? We got Starballs and somebody's in Kylo's shower. I don't even know what's going on. Is Christina over? Did she fly up from from South Carolina?
I don't know. She left the chat, so I don't know what the hell's going on.
So, I mean, yeah, like, I think that they definitely... They made her part of the story because they wanted her to be part of the story. And I don't think that it's going to be like, oh my god, I can't believe they put her in there for that. I think it's going to be something that is meaningful. Does she have to be in it? No.
No.
But if they're going to put her in it, it's going to be something that's pretty good, because look at what we've already have. Come in. From Legends. They're taking the good things out of Legends and bring it in, because, Legends isn't canon. Legends never was canon. Or Expanded Universe never was canon. And now they're just kind of, picking, oh, well, this is good, that's good. So let's use this, let's use that. And now they have, they bring in Cobb Vanth. So, like you said, he's just, he could be a one and done, or he might come back in, season 3 or season 4, or maybe.
Yeah, they set it up. He's probably coming back, just
in a couple
in the dialogue.
But I really do think that it's going to be something worthwhile for her to be in. But then it comes back to like my original question: how much is she in it? Is this just going to be a one and done for her? Is she actually in it? Do they go there trying to find her? And Bo-Katan was right; she was there, but it was a couple years old. The information that she was given, or that she was given to Jaren. And then they are able to get a hold of her somehow, because like there's someone there that can contact her, and she's off in unknown regions searching for Ezra. And it's just kind of like, we got Sasha Banks and a one and done, and she was barely even in it. She says, "Hi, how are you doing? I'm beautiful. I know everyone." Oh, hang on, I'm going. It's getting sidetracked there. But she was just like, she says a couple words and that's it. Everyone was convinced she's Sabine, or whatever was going to go on with that. And
no.
Well, who else could she be? She's got purple hair.
She didn't have purple hair though.
Exactly.
I mean, she has purple hair in the WWE, but everybody's like, no, she's got to have purple hair all the time. It's like, no. But yeah, that was interesting, and that just goes to show you that excited fan speculation can get out of hand really fast. So that's why Michael and I generally try to, tamper our expectations a little bit and try to think about this more rationally. Like, it's like, what do I want from Ahsoka? I'd love a badass fight. It's like, yeah, but are you going to get that? Probably not. Maybe.
So what is she doing? What was she doing when, what has she been doing this whole time? If she isn't off fighting Ezra, or did she just go and try and find Ezra for 5 years and then decide to come back and be like, oh, okay.
Well, I think it's 3 to 4, but yeah, either they found him, or they stopped the search for some reason, like something else came up and they had to stop the search, or maybe this is Sabine's mission to go find him, and Ahsoka is sending her on her way. And I forgot this a little bit, Michael. They did put a lot of they put a spotlight on Sabine in Rebels, showing her learning how to use the Darksaber. Maybe that's a hint down the road that maybe she gets like Finn, like the Force Awakens in her later down the line as another Mandalorian Jedi at some point for whatever reason. So maybe there's something there because there's this new weird connection between Ahsoka and Sabine. But maybe along the way they're gonna have some.
She doesn't have to have the Force to be able to.
Yeah, she doesn't have to. She's already a great character now.
But that's what she doesn't have to use the Force or be knowledgeable of the Force to be able to use lightsaber.
Yeah, they made that clear with the Darksaber. And hey, Bo-Katan, she has it, and she's not Force sensitive. We don't think Gideon is, and he handles it pretty well from what we've heard, possibly.
And that was one of the speculations that he was Force sensitive,
which we're not sure. I doubt it because he's an Imperial, and I really don't see Palpatine. Oh, you're Force sensitive? Yeah, you're going to be one of my Moffs. He would not let that fly.
But maybe he's not that strong in the Force. So
yeah, maybe he's not. Maybe he's a lot like Chirrut, where he can sense it around him, but maybe he can't use it.
So wouldn't that kind of be perfect though? I mean, to contradict your point, wouldn't that be perfect to have someone that's kind of Force sensitive,
but not enough to use it completely? Yeah.
Wouldn't you want to pack your high-ranking officials with that, or at least have a couple of them, because you know that's your loyalty.
And we're thinking more leaning towards he's probably not Force sensitive, and I think we talked about this on SEPTIC or something last week that they're trying to make him look like an Imperial version of General Grievous. They keep mentioning he's constantly killing his own soldiers, like Grievous killed his droids. He's like this menacing guy who he seems to enjoy fighting and manipulating people's heads. So I'm thinking he's probably not, but he's more than likely a very competent general and a fighter. So, but we're about to find out possibly this next episode, Mike, because they set it up pretty well that a fight's about to go down. And we know he's a tactician because he likes to sneak up on people and just show up randomly with his stormtroopers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Grievous was kind of the same way, overwhelming numbers.
Yeah, but Grievous wasn't Force sensitive.
No, he wasn't. He just became a really competent warrior.
Yeah. He was trained in the Jedi arts, which means he was trained how to use a lightsaber.
That's basically it.
So he can look at your, I can't name the forms, but he could look at your 7 different forms and know which one you're probably using. So I mean, he's just literally overwhelming with numbers. He's got 4 lightsabers, you got 1, so it doesn't really matter what form you're using. He's gonna win.
And anytime he showed up with the droid army, it was like thousands of droids every time.
That's true because, with the lightsaber thing, it doesn't matter what form you are or how good you are. He goes and he kills you because, he's been trained in that way, and he's got 4 and you got 1.
It's like Order 66. Clones will overwhelm you too.
Yeah, man.
Just because you're a Jedi and they were your best friends 2 minutes ago doesn't mean you can't be killed in a couple seconds.
So I should have written down points to keep it a little bit more on track because I don't even know where the hell we're going.
We were talking about Ahsoka. Now we've moved on towards Moff Gideon predictions.
Well, no, I know, but it's like, it's his normal septic tank or Bacta tank. Once we start chatting,
Yeah.
You never know where it's gonna go. But yeah, I'm still just getting back to Ahsoka. Like, what's Ahsoka doing?
It's like the biggest mystery in the world right now because she could literally be doing anything, and I think what's great about this point in the canon right now is we've seen her go through so much, and there's so much mystery surrounding her. At this point, I think the fans are like, okay, we know she's coming. We don't know what she's doing, but we need to see what she's been doing, or have something, or see her doing something, because we're just at that point where I think anybody will eat it up.
Yeah. But I'm still thinking, so is she going to be white?
I think she's still going to have the robe. They could go with a different costume design because Dave's really good about, as she goes through multiple iterations, I've noticed throughout Clone Wars and Rebels, they do a really good job about costume changes. So I think she's either going to be, I think she's still going to be in a whitish costume, but it's not going to be the same thing as Rebels. They're going to definitely do something new for costume design. So this is going to be a new look Ahsoka. So just be ready for that.
Oh, that's going to make so many people happy and make so many people mad.
I think for all the Funko and toy collectors, they're going to love it the most.
Oh, well, you know what?
Because everybody's got to have that new Ahsoka fig.
Well, you know what? Since we're speaking of things...
Hey, Kylo, you ready to start working on that new Ahsoka build?
What's that?
Are you getting excited to do your next Ahsoka build? Because she's going to have a new design?
No.
Somebody give it to me.
What's in the box?
This came today in the mail.
All I had to say is Funko.
This came in the mail today. And then after it came in the mail, then I got a call from GameStop, but I was streaming on Live It on my phone, so I couldn't answer the phone. I'm going to guess that it was GameStop letting me know that my other 4 or 5 figures have arrived. Here we go.
But Michael, what's in the box?
We got another box.
That is the Funko Box LLC with the UPC on the side. I know that well. That is the Clone War. Is that? That's the Clone Wars. Yeah, because she's got the little headpiece like
well, there's
like
2.
Bo-Katan.
There's so Kyle, correct me if I'm wrong. There were 6 that came out. 5 of them, they're all GameStop exclusives. 5 of them you could get at GameStop. 1 of them you had to order online. So there's 2 Ahsokas. This was the one you had to order online. Then I just found out there was a Funko one that I didn't know about. That was available at the Funko shop. So that's more along the lines of...
oh, is that the one where she's in like that work outfit from early in season 7? Because I've seen that one floating around too. It's like her mechanics outfit.
I'm not sure, but these are the ones they have listed on the back here for this.
So
you got
I can't
Maul. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Ahsoka, Darth Maul, Gar Saxton, Bo-Katan, and Wrecker.
Yet one on the Funko shop. I missed it too. It was a Mandalorian one.
How much is that one going for on eBay right now?
I have no idea. I haven't even looked.
Probably 50, 60. Or higher, because popularity right now.
It wasn't Din Djarin. It was one of the other Mandalorians.
Yeah, it was one of the. It was.
Was it the heavy?
No.
No, it was. I forget who it was. I don't know. Kyle can tell us. He's the collector of these things. So. I just kicked him off and brought him back on, so that's why I must just sell him up. But yeah, there was. So that's weird though too that they don't have. They have the 5 of them listed on there, but one of them comes from One of them was, so they're all exclusives, but one of them you had to order online. You couldn't get it in the store.
Wow.
And that's the one that just came from GameStop. But that's the one they have listed on the back. So the other one that was in store available, I can pull it up on my Funko app, I think. Let's see. That should be with my wish list.
So, Mike, it probably won't be out in time for Christmas, but will you be pre-ordering your Mandalorian Ahsoka in April or May?
Yeah.
Well, maybe March at the earliest, theoretically.
Oh, that's not bad. The Luke and Leia I got. Okay. I'm just looking right now.
Well, I don't know. With Mando Mondays going on this season, you could see a pre-order go up literally next Monday for Ahsoka stuff. Because if they've done one thing really good, either between her universe with Ashley Eckstein and the Funko stuff with Ahsoka, I imagine there's going to be so many figure pre-orders next Monday. They've got to have that planned out already. There's no way they don't.
It's the Mandalorian Super Commando, and he's selling it now for $100.
Oh, they had him as a Funko?
Yeah.
So it's like Gar Saxon, but it's just a regular Super Commando.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it. This is that Ahsoka. 409.
Let me. Well, not any better. Hold on. Let's try that again.
That's the one.
No, she got a lightsaber in her hand?
Yeah, that's the one that I just showed you guys.
Okay, so it is the one you have.
And then this is the one, 414.
I'm not sure which one that is.
She's just... it came out at the exact same time.
Okay.
But for whatever reason, I don't know.
So, Mike, on a scale from let's do over under. Over under 30% that they're gonna drop the Ahsoka pre-orders toys next Monday.
I am going to. Yeah, dude. Why wouldn't they? If we see Ahsoka in here, in this episode, then it is going to be definitely something coming out. Whether it's another Black Series, but I'm gonna guess probably another Funko.
And I'm thinking what? Like the stuff they just had 2 or 3 weeks ago, that some of those figs and stuff are coming out in January. So theoretically, if they dropped Ahsoka pre-orders next week, you guys could see something by the end of January or first week of February, in your mailbox or on your doorstep.
And I'm gonna guess that's
mind-blowing.
That's David stopping by and saying hello from Beyond the Blast Doors.
Yeah, it's gotta be David. Hey, David, what's up?
I feel bad. David keeps sending me messages, and I'm always mean to reply, and I never do.
But I was like, yo, come check out my toy review.
Yeah, and you know what? I do a lot of them, but I'm horrible at leaving comments. And he's always like, hey, leave a comment. And I just never do.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to just click that like button.
Well, a lot of times I'm on the move, too. I'm watching a video while I'm walking the dog or,
yeah,
doing whatever. But yeah. We do love Beyond the Blast Doors. It is.
We also love Delilah.
Yeah, I don't. Where's she? Oh, she's in the other room.
Now, are you still a bachelor this weekend?
Oh, that was last weekend. That was only Friday, Saturday.
Okay, so she's back already. Okay.
Yeah, Sunday night. Yeah, there's.
What's going to be really hard is staying up tomorrow night after we've had all of our turkey and food. It's going to be. It's gonna be a tough 3 a.m. stay up, Michael.
Maybe for you.
I mean, it's gonna be brutal for me. I mean, at least I'm not working, so I should be okay.
I got some week-old coffee in the refrigerator to keep.
Yeah, I got some coffee in the refrigerator too. So yeah, let's do that. Iced coffees tomorrow night. Let's do it.
Yeah, man. Always.
Kylo, you want to drink some iced coffee and stay up with us?
Nope.
Kylo's like, I'm gonna go sleep.
I'm gonna go to sleep because I'm going out early on Friday.
Where are you headed to?
Where the hell was I going? I still gotta look. I know GameStop's got some hot shit dropping.
Oh, on Friday?
Yeah.
In terms of like games or like figs?
Both, I'm sure.
I'm really bad about like going to GameStop to buy figs just because I'm not about, waking up and being there when they open for anything. Especially if I know my store isn't, going to have something in stock anyways. It's like, why bother? You almost want to, buy their stuff online, but GameStop pre-orders take forever.
All right,
they
here
really
we go.
do.
All right, here we go. Pappas just said, I'm guessing it's Pappas. Let me go check over
Pappas
here.
is staying up with us, iced coffee Mandalorian night.
Yeah, it's him. He says, I'm in.
Come on, Pappas. Mike and I will just chill out and do whatever leading up to it. I'm never on the show with Michael when he's live, doing live reactions. But, yeah, I'm sure he'd love to have you.
Like, my live reactions aren't anything astounding or anything major. It's just kind of me, like, everyone's just... Because I'm watching the show.
Yeah,
so
you get your headphones on and you're watching.
And, every once in a while I say something or whatever. Except for, like, the other day when, Bo-Katan shows up and I'm, like, sitting here, oh, my God, yay! I'm telling people, I was like, dude, just watch. Like, you don't even need any sound on. Just watch my video while you're watching it in real time.
Yeah, just press play and watch Mike react.
Yeah, all right, so, Pappas, I'll start a little bit before 3 o'clock if you guys want to, or we can always be on and start.
Yeah, I can always just pop on for a few minutes before if you want to go before. We can chat for a little bit, and then I'll probably pop off. While we're watching, and then pop back on after. I try to stay off Mike's thing while he's live, so you all can just focus on his facial reactions because they're great.
Yeah, my face doesn't move, or I'm like a little schoolgirl. I'm just sitting there watching, like, that's cool. Oh my God, they just got killed.
Yeah. Mike's normally stone faced, but if there's something really good, you see him start to smile. That's when it really kicks in. It's good.
Yep. So it's like we covered so much and absolutely nothing at the same time. So
Andy and Josh do it too, man. You can see it in some of their stuff.
Moff Gideon, is he going to be in this episode?
100% yes. I think they're going to... I don't know if they're going to have the main conflict in this episode or if they're going to end with him again. I don't really see them ending with him 2 times back to back, week after week. But, see, I don't know. And then next week is Robert Rodriguez's episode.
But they don't usually drag things on to multiple episodes. Like, I know that. All right, so this last one with the egg.
I was about to say Clone Wars much, Michael.
Well, it's usually it usually finishes. It's kind of they're self-contained.
They're self-contained, episodic, basically. Yes.
Yeah, and that's how these chapters are for the most part, except for this last one. But it wasn't the egg thing was kind of the catalyst to start off, or was for the one episode, and then, or that's what the one episode was about, and then the second episode it was just the first few minutes as a to get into the rest of that episode, to keep that one going.
Yeah, they had to lead into it, and I think I'm gonna say that the first few minutes of this episode, it's gonna feel a little bit like a mix of that episode 2. Kind of like setting things up as he's on his way to Corvus. And then it's going to kind of transition a little bit more. You're going to have a little bit of this, like, it's kind of going to be like last week's episode, how they arrive on a new planet. And you got, like, something familiar is there, like we saw with the Quarren, Mon Cala, and then later on the Mandalorians we meet. So something's there, something of importance is there, which we know is Ahsoka. We just don't know if, like Mike said, she might not be there. She might have been there, a couple of years back, and that's the last place anybody saw her. And yeah, we'll see. This could turn a lot of people either really happy or they're just gonna get really annoyed if they try to make this like dragged out whole thing happen.
The right now the possibilities are just everything we say. It's like 10 different things shoot off, and then we try.
Everything is open for debate.
What if it is a hologram, and then she has to come back from wherever she is? She might not be in the unknown regions, but she is a hologram for this one, and she comes back at the end of the season. Or
could you imagine if that was the season finale?
or what if this is just her saying, okay, well, I'm not a Jedi, I can't take this baby. She need and it sets up the Ahsoka cartoon that we're rumored to have, or it sets up the live action, and it's a great way too. Maybe we don't need Ahsoka in this, but now everybody knows who Ahsoka is. Everybody wants to talk about Ahsoka. Just like with the Darksaber, people are like, oh, what was that thing? Some people just thought it was, some dark lightsaber. They didn't understand the meaning of it. Other people wanted to know what it was. Then it's like these little Easter eggs that they're giving us that people want to know about that aren't Star Wars fans, or even people that are Star Wars fans that really aren't. As
like they don't watch all the shows.
I was gonna say as emphatic, yeah. Like they've just watched the movies, and now they're watching this. And they're into it or whatever, and they just kind of want to see where it's going to go from here. But then it's like, hey, this is really cool. Let's see what's going on with it.
I can't remember. I was talking with somebody one time about like what's that all about? It might have been my brother. He's like, what's that thing Gideon has at the end of season 1? I'm like, oh, that's the Darksaber. And he goes like, oh, what's that? I said, well, you're going to have to watch all 100 plus episodes of Clone Wars. And he's like, oh, I have to do work.
Well, I mean, you don't have, that's the other thing too. You don't have to, if someone wanted to know, you could be like, okay, watch
these episodes. And you might not understand the context of all the context of those episodes had you not watched the stuff previous, but you get the gist of it.
Yeah, and you can get it done very quickly.
And I'm sure somebody's already compiled a list of like essential episodes to The Mandalorian from Clone Wars and Rebels. There's got to be a list out there already.
And yeah, definitely. And just trying to figure out. It could be just you might just need to watch a couple episodes, or you might need to watch 6 episodes, but that's still not that long.
What about say with Ahsoka in the picture now? It's like, what episodes of Clone Wars do I watch? All of them.
Yeah. And we also have Papa saying that there's a tracker on the Razor Crest. Don't forget about that.
Which is very A New Hope. I thought that was a pretty cool thing because that was something Vader and Tarkin did with the Millennium Falcon.
And then he also says that they're going to bring fire to Ahsoka's planet.
Yeah, what does that mean? Are we getting another... what was that tank from Clone Wars called? It started with like D. I forget what it's called. The defoliator? It like basically burns all the grass.
I don't know. I'm a fake fan. I don't know what that's called.
I think it's the defoliator. Somebody let me know in the comments.
Hurry up and Google.
Generally, when the Empire says they're going to bring fire to a world, generally means they're going to park in orbit over the planet and just blast it to smithereens with the cannons. So, we actually might get a really cool space sequence with either Gideon's ship or if there's like a larger, Imperial remnant fleet out there of Gideon's. We might get some cool like Star Destroyer stuff this next episode.
Did you guys smell that?
It smells like Updog.
It smells like apple pie almost being done.
And for those of you who don't know, Michael, tell them your oven problem.
Oh, I got it to work now. I don't know.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. So I used to have a problem with my oven, and the thermostat was going, and the thermostat was always off. So we had to regulate it. Like we knew if we had to cook something at 350, you either had to cook it at 300 or 400. I forget what it was because it was off by about like 50 degrees. But then there were some points in there where it was like whatever. So they came and they fixed it, and I've never used my oven over 350 before for anything. But as everyone knows, when you bake a pie, you have to bake it at 400 degrees. And
that goes for meat pies or fruit pies.
And then I was going to make a really dirty comment, but I'm just going to let that one go. Aren't they all meat pies? But then again, I guess not.
Jeez, Mike.
And then I thought about it. I was like, well, you know what? There's a lot of them that aren't. There's a lot of pies that don't want to be meat. So, and now I can just keep going and going and going on this one because.
Yeah. Welcome to the SEPTIC Comedy Hour.
Yeah. What kind of meat are we talking about? But what were we talking about now? Meat pies.
So, I guess you're the warm up act for the Ahsoka special.
Yes. So. No, Roddy J's getting bored. Well, you don't have to be here, dude. See ya.
Michael's like, I don't need you to watch.
No, I mean, like, if you're getting bored, like.
Yeah, if you're bored, take off, go do something fun, man.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for. We're here to engage you for a little bit, but if we're boring you, just go do something fun. Come back later.
Yeah. Or never again.
Or never again. Michael's like, yeah, just click that unsubscribe button.
So then I went to go put the pie in the oven, and it wouldn't go above 350. So I had to turn it all the way up to like, I had it up to like 500 or whatever, and then it went up to 500, and then it would go back up for whatever reason it wouldn't go up to whatever. So yeah, it's just an oven problem. That's why I just got up and went and checked it again just to make sure everything was okay.
Michael's over there trying to broil his pies.
Oh wait, that was an euphemism. I'm sorry. And Pappas is thinking maybe Ahsoka has a new Republic backup. We could see a space battle.
Yeah, because they've been really pushing the New Republic stuff this season. Like, really pushing it. That might be their way of getting Rick and Deborah back on screen again. Because remember at the end of Rebels, there's the 2 X-Wings that escort her ship? Mm-hmm. She's got connections, dude. Can you imagine if, like, she has, like, one of those switches, like Matt Lanter's character in Season 1 had on the prison transport, which is ironic because Matt voiced Anakin in the Clone Wars.
Yep.
That'd be cool if, like, Ahsoka's, like, about to get just, like, destroyed, and she just, like, looks up at the ship and she goes, beep! Backup coming.
So, yeah, I mean...
That'd be awesome, man. And I don't know if you've seen it on Twitter. Somebody brought up that scene from Rogue One the other day about how awesome that like even happened in a Star Wars movie, like a space battle sequence, just like that. So, could you imagine if they pulled that off again in The Mandalorian? That'd be really cool.
Well, you know what? In about another 27 hours, we'll have all the answers.
We're gonna find out.
Well, in 25 hours and 25 and a half hours, roughly, we'll be back here talking about it again.
Maybe I'll go pick up some donuts tomorrow, and we can do coffee and donuts.
Oh, that's really great, but I'm not going to have donuts.
Maybe I'll have to DoorDash Mike some donuts.
Yeah, what would it cost to FedEx me?
No, dude, DoorDash you, bro. I find donuts near you, and they just bring them to your door.
I was going to say, what would it cost to FedEx me 12-hour donuts?
Probably about $40.
Oh, no, coming from your house? To do it
from my house? Like,
yeah,
it'd probably be $30 to $40 shipping, flat rate. And they wouldn't fit in one of those little nice sleeves. Nah, you got to put them in a really big box. And then they're going to add extra packing material inside to keep the donuts nice and safe, which is going to add to the weight and add about another $5-10 to the shipping.
Yeah.
And then you got stale donuts by the time they arrive 3 to 5 business days later.
So,
Let me know. I don't know, Kylo. If you want donuts, let me know. I'll send you Mike's donuts if he doesn't want them.
So does Ahsoka? So here we go. Ahsoka is fighting Moff Gideon.
So we've been told because Giancarlo brought up he broke 3 Darksabers this season, which we're assuming is this next episode.
But we don't know how.
We don't know how.
He's fighting Ahsoka.
It could be season finale. It might not even be this next episode.
He's fighting Ahsoka. And Ahsoka dies.
Can you imagine how pissed the fans would be if she dies next episode?
So the cartoon series we're getting is what she's been doing since Rebels to now.
They're gonna Black Widow Ahsoka.
So she's so that's a series. So, but that sets it up perfectly. Now people find out this character, and then everybody's talking about it, whether or not it's this episode or another episode, because they carried on for a couple episodes, knowing that they got this gold right here. Ahsoka dies, and because she has to, she has to save the child or something like that. So she has to sacrifice. She has to sacrifice herself because we know. All great Jedi sacrifice themselves so the other ones can get away.
They do. But Mike, she's not a Jedi. Oh my gosh.
So that's how we have the tie into here's what happened after Rebels to now that leads up to when we see her. So we don't even get a lot of the story from that. That's what everybody wants to know. Who is this amazing person that everyone's in love with? Well, here you go. Now you need to do this and watch that. And we got this great show coming out for it.
If she dies, I want her sequel or the prequel, like the whole story leading up to that. They got to call it Ahsoka Development, and they got to bring Ron Howard in to shoot the intro. Like you're probably wondering how I got here.
That'd be all right. I'd buy that for $1.
That'd be funny, like if Ahsoka gets stabbed by Gideon, and then it just pauses, and it's like you're probably wondering how I got here.
And when she calls for her help. There comes Sabine coming in. And then Sabine...
Dude, can you imagine? And then on top of that,
Sabine defeats him for the Darksaber, which she now has, so she can now rule Mandalore. She decides she doesn't want it. She gives it to Bo-Katan. So Bo-Katan's now gifted the Darksaber, and she can go back off to find Ezra.
Crazy theory here. You know how they always say everything rhymes in Star Wars?
Yep.
You remember Xi'an from season 1, the Twi'lek chick? What did she use as a weapon, Michael?
I'm drawing a blank.
She used throwing knives. Because remember, she threw it at the New Republic prison transport guy played by Matt Lanter.
Okay.
So a blade stabbed Anakin Skywalker in a weird, trippy sort of way. Could you imagine if the Darksaber, another blade, killed Anakin's Padawan, Ahsoka? That'd be some weird poetry, man.
Oh, you're talking about the hot chick. I thought you were talking about Clone Wars, not.
No, I'm talking about Mandalorian season 1. The the crazy psychotic Twi'lek chick who uses throwing knives.
Yeah, the hot chick from Game of Thrones.
From Game of Thrones and Harry Potter.
Yeah, she's really hot when she's dirty.
Tonks for all you Harry Potter fans.
I don't even know what a Potter fan is. What are those things? That's weird to me.
My favorite scene, I think it was from Order of the Phoenix from Harry Potter. There's the scene where she's messing around with Harry and his friends, and she can transform her face and do these weird things. And she transforms her mouth into a duck bill, just to mess around with them. It's so funny. If you watch Harry Potter, you know what I'm talking about.
I have no idea what you're really talking about. I saw the first couple, and then after that, they just I thought they were whatever.
Well, if you like Xi'an, you got to go watch the 5th movie.
Okay. But yeah, that would be. They're supposedly back. Bill Burt, right? Is it Bill Burt?
Are they coming back this season?
He's back I know he's back this season.
So at least he'll be back.
And I would, this once again is just speculation. But if he's coming back, wouldn't the other ones maybe? There's a good chance that they come back too.
Not necessarily, but he seemed to be the leader of that group of misfits in a weird sort of way. What the hell is a Harry Potter fan? They're called potheads or Potterheads.
And Kylo Customs, you're going to be canceled. And then he says that he prefers laser sword wizards over wizards that play with their sticks. So.
Training lightsaber you have, Michael.
But yeah, there's like, I should have actually written some shit down for this one because I know there's things I'm gonna be like.
We've gone so many different directions, but it's okay.
And then when I'm sitting here talking, I have like 14 things going on in my head. I'm like, wait a second, which way do I want to go? Because it could be this way, it could be that way. But anyways, yeah, this is gonna be. I think this might be as big as the premiere.
This is going to be huge. Like, the fact another animated character is now being brought to live action. This is really weird. And it's almost like a test of the fans here. They started really small with Cobb Vanth in episode 1 of the season. Like, look at this book character we just pulled into live action. You book fans like that, right? And we go, yeah, we really like that. And then they bring in Bo-Katan. It's like, you guys like animated characters coming to live action, right? It's like, yeah, we like that. Now for the trifecta, number 3, we got Ahsoka coming in hot, Michael. One of the most beloved Star Wars characters now of all time. Making her live action debut.
I'm just looking at my notifications. I'm going to have to go back and watch The Great Council because today they did Ahsoka the Mandalorian pre-show. So I wonder if that is...
Which is basically what you were doing tonight.
Yeah, I stopped in and said hi to them today, but they weren't talking about that then, because they always do a midday mashup, and they talk about whatever, whether it's Star Wars or Marvel or whatever.
I'm getting tired.
There's no crying in baseball.
There's no crying in Star Wars. Wait, yeah, there is. I'm sorry. There's a couple scenes they cry. Michael, do you think we will shed tears this episode? That's the question.
No.
You think we're going to be whooping and cheering like a Star Wars movie?
Oh, I mean, I've never cried in a Star Wars movie.
I only cried one time, I think. That's when Leia died. Oh, that gutted me.
The ending of the Clone Wars, the final season, I became emotional, but that was the most emotional I've ever become in a Star Wars movie.
Oh, when he grabs the lightsaber and walks away.
I gotta go check this.
Dude, that was like a gut punch to me, like a really good gut punch, like emotionally. Like, I got massive goosebumps, mainly because of the music with that. Because Lucasfilm does a really good job of pairing up music with those emotional moments, so they aren't just hitting you hard; they're hitting you really hard. I forget who said it. One of the Lucasfilm employees was talking about how the music is just like that next level thing that if Star Wars didn't have the music, yeah, it would be pretty cool to watch, but it really wouldn't have that emotional punch that it has. Whether that's John Williams or Kevin Kiner or any other composer, Michael Giacchino, John Powell, all of them.
Well, I'm also good at finding shows to watch that the first couple seasons are good, and then I just refuse to give them up no matter how bad they are. So the 100.
Thought about watching it, never watched it. CW show.
Yeah, the first couple seasons were good, and then it was just crap for the middle of it. And then the last.
And then I heard it started to get a little better again.
Yeah, it's still nowhere near as good as it was to start off with. And then I've just been watching Van Helsing.
Is it all on CW?
I don't even know what that is. I mean, I know what CW is, but I don't know what it's. No, that's it's Sci-Fi.
Sci-fi. Yeah.
But I'm watching it off of Netflix. And the first season was really good. The second season was okay. Um, it's like it's here's the surprise. I've never watched The Walking Dead.
I haven't either.
Okay, Kylo.
And I have a family friend who's on the show, actually.
Kylo, have you watched The Walking Dead?
Nope.
Wow, 3 nerds on here talking about sci-fi. None of us have ever watched The Walking Dead.
Or read the graphic novel. I haven't done that either.
Yeah, it turns out.
I watched the real marching zombies. That was Game of Thrones.
But yeah,
they canceled again because I said that.
What?
Why?
Just the words Game of Thrones?
No, because I said I watched the real zombie show.
The real zombie show.
Well, you know what? I am getting ready to start the TooMedToo T-shirt line, so maybe I will.
What?
Maybe I will cancel you. Maybe I will cancel you.
So you know what happens when that arrives in your mailbox? You gotta open it up and go, "What's in the box?" A TooMedToo T-shirt.
That's okay. I can always go on a hate campaign and witch hunt your ass too.
Yeah, somebody tried that on Twitter recently, and I was like, "Here's the 45 seconds you cut out of my video. This is what I said, so you don't even have to watch the video, people. If you don't like it, go ahead and unfollow me." And it got a lot of views, but no one unfollowed me from it, which is kind of funny. And I told the guy, I was like, "Dude, I don't know why you're like stalking me and everything, like my social media accounts and watching my videos. I've never watched more than 5 minutes of all your videos put together. But you just happened to watch the exact time that you found of my videos that when I was like, okay, buddy, whatever, man." Like
the exact moment you thought something was controversial, you just clip that.
But it's like, so this is an hour and 47 minutes. So go ahead and how do you find? You just go in that hour and 47 minute mark and just find the exact time.
Or does you just sit there and skip through it just to find something controversial?
Either way, it's still
waste of his day and your day. So,
well, not a waste of my day. I fucking had
fun. I mean, you had to put up with him.
Yeah. And Danielle's like, "Well, why do you?" I was like, "Because people are fucking stupid on Twitter.
They are,
and they don't even read the conversation him and I had, like where I said, he kept saying women, and I kept saying, no, I'm saying people. You're saying women. What you're saying is sexist. What I'm saying is not. I'm saying they're fucking idiots. You're saying women. There's a big difference." That was one of the things. And the other thing was, like I said, people not being able to tell the difference between reality and fiction. And then I said how cancel culture was idiotic. 2 different sentences. So then he said that you're calling all women idiotic. And I was like, no, bro. 2 different sentences. I said this, and then I said this. Don't pick shit out of there just to try and prove your agenda. Because I say enough fucking shit. Like, I don't need you to make shit up about what I say. Like,
yeah.
I say enough shit that if people don't want to listen to me or get me canceled, because you know what? If you can't tell the difference between fucking real life and whatever, can it trigger you? Yes, that's fine. But say it's triggering me because I'm fucked in the head, not because, and make up some story about it. And I'm fucked in the, because you're fucked in the head doesn't mean there's anything wrong.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are fucked in the head or see something and it triggers them or,
We've all been through some sort of crap at some point.
And shit bothers us, but don't go making shit up. That's just I don't need that.
I think all 3 of us here at some point have bared our souls on the show. The crap we've been through. You've done it. Kyla's done it. I've done it.
I do almost every fucking week. Shit, you should see me on Live It. There, I'm just sitting there. It's like this, but I just sit there and talk, and it's not about Star Wars. So a lot of times it's just whatever. But,
yeah, I don't bring up my personal stuff much, but yeah, I've been through some stuff too.
It's like anybody that watches the show knows I don't drink anymore. Why? Because I used to drink way too much. And,
I'll occasionally have a drink on stream, but, we always keep things within moderation.
And for 20 years, people told me I had a drinking problem, and I didn't stop drinking until I thought I had actually had a problem, or there was a problem. So it's like, and drinking and drugs and all the other crazy shit I've done in my life and blah blah blah. I'm kind of an open book. It's like there's really nothing. You don't need to make shit up about me to if you want to cancel me or whatever. Which is funny because Pris today I saw she has an article coming out tomorrow about Raylos and antis. And she made her account not private but locked or whatever today because
she knew the fire was coming.
Yeah, and she's like, but I'm putting it out there because and she said on the show on Monday night that she was gonna, do it because like I brought up how, when that fucking idiot got mad at me about the comic book, got mad at me about the comic book.
About Bounty Hunters #4. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, but that has absolutely nothing to do with what you're talking about. Like, I'm sorry that you had this experience in your life.
Yeah.
But that has absolutely nothing to do with this comic book. And what you're saying is complete bullshit. You're just making shit up because, it might upset you, but that's not what happened in the movie. Or in the comic book. Like,
Michael and I broke that issue. Well, actually, we broke down all 4 of those issues a couple months back. So you guys can go back if you didn't see it. We literally break things down page by page to show you all the stuff that people are saying. It's not true. It really isn't. You got to break it down step by step. Take yourself out of the picture when you're reading some of this stuff. Like, what am I seeing here? What is actually going on? Not, hey, how is my experience going to be reflected in what I'm reading? Because that's not how that works.
Yeah, but it's like, like it's because her and I were talking about, like, she was talking about how she said something, oh, fuck, I got to check that pie.
Well, Michael goes to check that pie. Kylo, do you, like, when you're reading a comic, what's your take? Oh, is Kylo gone too?
I don't know. All right, I'm back now. Right.
I think Kylo's gone or muted. I'm not sure.
I had to pull out. But, it's just like, because she was saying how, like, it was a bunch of, like, 14-year-old girls that wanted to cancel her for something, and they were the ones that were, like, doing whatever. And I was like, you know what? The first time it happened, I was pissed because it had nothing to do with me. Someone made up complete fucking lies about myself. Well, someone made up complete fucking lies about my friend. And then threw me in there just to try and be like, and now there's more, which actually lessened her case because then it comes out that the shit about me was not true, and you can go fucking, it's all on the internet, so you can see it's not true. And it's like, oh, he doesn't let people have different opinions. Dude, have you fucking ever watched my show? A lot of times we don't agree.
On a lot. Tonight, for example, we don't agree on, last week's episode. There's a lot of stuff we had different theories on.
And it's like, oh, whatever. But it's like, just going on like with more stuff, and it's like everything. It's like that's not true. That's not true. Oh, the person whose show it was says that's not true. Not even my show, other people's shows. It's like, and whatever. It's like, so that one like kind of fucking bothered me. And then the one with the comic book one, I did it to myself. I could have just been like, thought to myself, you're a fucking moron. You're just doing all this for attention and publicity for your porn site, so it doesn't really matter. You got to play victim every chance you get so you can get more views to people to pay you to take your clothes off or whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. Go ahead and do your porn site, but don't make shit up to get people, if you have sympathy for you, to be like, we got to give her money now for, whatever. And then of course, like, I just, and then you can't win because no matter what you say, it's like, oh, so my opinion doesn't matter? You hate all women? What are you talking about? Or, well, I asked, an actual person, oh, we're not actual people? No, like, I mean someone that's tangible that I can, like, talk to, that I can ask, that I can see. You're fucking typing on a computer, and you're a keyboard warrior. I'm actually asking real people these things, and and whatever. But of course, then I say how Raylos are just as bad as the Phantom Menace, and that started opening up a whole new fucking can of worms, because now I have not just this fucking idiot after me saying shit. I got all the fucking Raylos coming after me. And when I say all the Raylos, I don't mean all the Raylos. I just mean the fucking stupid ones. That can't, like the 10% of neurotic. You can't say anything against a Raylo, otherwise you're the enemy. Raylos.
Yes, it doesn't matter what group you're a part of. Yeah. There's always 10% of that group is going to come after you, no matter what you're going to say.
Just like with her article, man. I'm waiting for this article to come up because it's going to be juicy. It's going to be good because
I want to read it.
Yeah.
Is it out tomorrow?
She said it should be out tomorrow or.
Get it while the press is hot with Mando coming out, man. Let's do it. And I'm sure, no matter how it's written, I think any level-headed Star Wars fan is going to read it and go, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty true.
Oh, and did you guys see, there's a new copy of the holiday special up on YouTube that has multiple...
The original or the Lego?
The original.
Okay.
But it has multiple ones put together to make a decent version of it.
Did they do a Hermes despecialized holiday special?
I don't know. I still haven't watched the.
It's the highest quality possible, so they just spliced it together like a crazy cult movie or something. I don't know. It's so fringe they had to chop up multiple parts from multiple copies people owned.
Oh, I can't find it now. I should be able to find it here. Why don't I just look at my... because I commented on that.
And while he's doing that, in conclusion, we are excited for tomorrow's episode.
It just says, I just finished writing my Raylo verse Antis article. I'm scared. Y'all aren't ready.
Yeah, we're not ready. We are not ready. It doesn't matter whether you're an anti or Raylo, a normal person, a crazy person. Nobody's ready for this.
Oh boy, I'm going to guess 80% of the people will love it. 10% will be angry Raylos and 10% will be angry antis. It's going to be fun.
Right on the money. You are right, Michael. And then you know what's great about the timing? It doesn't matter how much people get angry at that article. Everyone's going to forget it as soon as Mandalorian hits.
And it also says it should be coming out tonight or tomorrow. Tonight being tonight.
Thanksgiving. It is Thanksgiving now, Michael. Happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, Kylo. Well, she posted this 4 hours ago, or 5 hours. So this was at 9 o'clock at night that she posted it. So it was either going to come out last night or today. And I didn't watch the video, but she cut out a 45-second clip of herself saying or talking about the Mandalorian. She kept saying which was funny because I hate editing. Because right now I was just thinking, I was I hate when I do it. When other people do it, doesn't bother me at all. But when I do
when I used to edit podcasts, anytime someone would go and then pause, I used to cut that out just to make everybody sound like they were really smart. I used to spend an extra 2 hours every podcast just getting rid of all the uhs and ums. But man, we sounded so smart.
That's what I'm going to start doing. I'm just 20 podcasts behind. So the first start of them, I just put them up there. I put up the whole Bacta tank, the interview part, and the talking afterwards. Some of them I had to put on there as 2-parters because they were too long, and that's when I decided that I was going to start just doing the interview part, putting that up there, and then we would have, if somebody wanted the whole thing, they can go watch it later on. That's why if you watch on the Bacta tank now, after the person's done, I end it, but it's not really ended. The podcast part's ended, but the show keeps going. But yeah, I just need to get into start editing I mean, it's still months away, even if I get a
Yeah.
couple of them done a week. If I can do a couple of them a week, but we'll see what happens. Eventually they'll all get on there, or I'll just fucking put them all up there on their hole and just be like, fuck it, just cut it off, unedited. Like just put the. But I don't want to do that anymore. That's what.
Oh wow, we just hit 2 hours, Mike.
All right, well, it's Patrick's bedtime.
It is. I'm actually off, but yeah. Closing thoughts. Since it's kind of like what we were really aiming towards for tonight. I think Ahsoka's going to do some really cool stuff in this next episode. I think she's going to do a lot of stuff a lot of people are not expecting. So do not get your hopes up that you're going to see like the Solo a Star Wars story, like checklist of, I got to get the DL-44. I got to figure out how he got the dice. I got to find out this and this and this all about this character. I don't think they're going to give you the whole list of Ahsoka in this episode. They're going to leave you with a lot of mysteries, going to have you scratching your head. A few things will get answered. Yes, you're going to get something. They're not going to leave you hanging out to dry. And we really have no idea where she's going to go from here, Mike. We've literally sat here for like the last 2 hours just trying to figure out what she's going to do, and we still haven't come up with an answer.
Yeah,
just a list of possibilities.
Yeah, and everything, when we do have an answer, we change our answer immediately to something different. Or, well, this could happen or this could happen, and then this turn to 25 different things.
So get ready. We're going to do another one of these next week, probably.
Well, in 25 hours and 19 minutes, we'll be hitting...
it's getting close,
again.
Man. We're almost there.
Yeah, man.
Kyla, you still alive with us?
Yeah.
You got any thoughts about the episode coming tomorrow?
Nope.
You just gonna let it flow?
Yep. That's pretty much what I'm gonna do.
I want to hear your thoughts after the episode. That's what we really want to hear.
I'm gonna watch it on Friday, and I'm not staying up tomorrow. I don't think I'll be able to anyways.
Man, we're gonna have to really break down the after effects of this next episode on Saturday.
Yeah.
It's gonna be. We're gonna have to do some real deep diving. Because Mike and I are going to be tired tomorrow. We're going to be just trying to stay awake, and we'll still be in processing mode, trying to process everything.
Well, don't ruin my night of questions out of this box.
Oh yeah, we're gonna keep it light so Kyla can give us all the questions.
Yeah,
because we really didn't get to do that last Saturday, like we were planning.
Make sure you guys use Google to get your answers.
Ooh. Now, are they trivia?
Oh, yeah. It's going to be trivia.
Oh, I'm not using Google. I'm just going to go off what I got in my head, man.
It's not out of the bowl what you're used to seeing. It might be coming out of a different kind of bowl. My ideas might come from a different bowl.
Ah, I got you.
I don't think you do.
Oh, I do.
Well, all right, people. It's been fun.
Oh,
good day. May the force
good day.
be with you.
It's been a long